Right, 21 June 2025, and today I'm very excited to be giving you an update, and I've got a new mic, so let's see if you're able to hear me. So good morning, Mukoma Tumisani, and I'm trying a new mic here because of the echoes, so I've got too many echoes here, so let's hope that this improves the situation. So I want to quickly go through what has happened with Nyoka. And we have a serious problem. As I said last night, I'm going to update you on a serious problem that has come up this week. Specifically yesterday, after the court case, we've had a new development regarding the legal team. And the problem that we have is that no one wants to listen to what we're telling them. So specifically, I've told the guys that I have an agreement with Nyoka on strategy on how to proceed. And there needs to be someone who leads the team of lawyers. There are too many lawyers. And at the moment, the problem that we have is people want to go behind my back and meet the lawyers without telling me. So there are people that are arranging meetings with the lawyers. They call them to secret places, and we don't know why they're calling them to those places. And then I get to hear that such and such a lawyer has met this person, or such and such a lawyer has been called to this place. And you cannot meet the lawyers without telling me. That is the basic fact. If you are meeting any of Nyoka's lawyers, you have to tell me, because the lawyers do brief me and I'm giving them the strategy from my side. So there is no one else responsible for strategy regarding the case of Nyoka, because when we started this case, there was no lawyer. And we then put in a new lawyer, and then we had other lawyers coming in, and then we had other lawyers leaving. So someone has to make sure that there's a clear strategy and we don't get into a problem, because this is going to take a long time. So the case of Nyoka is going to take a long time, and it needs someone to provide leadership. At the moment, we don't have that leadership, and people are having those secret meetings without letting us know. So that is not acceptable. And I want to make it clear in public that it's not acceptable to call any of the lawyers and not tell any of the stakeholders. So rather, people come and speak together, and especially people who refuse to meet with other people, and then they call lawyers to a secret meeting. That then becomes a problem, because we don't know their intention. We don't know what they're trying to do when they meet Nyoka's lawyers in secret. Also, there are people coming from Zimbabwe that we don't know, attempting to meet with the Nyoka's lawyers or meeting with Nyoka's lawyers. We don't know who they are. If you have such a meeting and I'm not there, then you're doing something that we don't know what it is. We don't understand what you're trying to do. You are trying to work against the interests of Nyoka. So anyone who meets Nyoka's lawyers in secret or behind my back, they are doing something else that I don't know. And I don't know why they're doing it. But someone says, are you Nyoka's father, Gambakwe Media? No, I'm not Nyoka's father. I have the mandate to manage the legal side of things for Nyoka. It's a written mandate, including raising funds. We don't want confusion. And I've said it in the past. I'm spending so much time going between Johannesburg and Cape Town so that we can get this sorted. There is currently no money, and people are taking advantage of that situation, and we don't want that situation. So what I'm saying is, you can't meet Nyoka's lawyers without telling me. It's not possible. You cannot do it. And if you do that, there is something else you're trying to do. And I've talked to Nyoka. I've personally visited him to discuss this. We need a clear strategy. And let me explain to you what the problem is. The prosecution of Nyoka is fake. There is no case. So the more you prolong activities around the court, the happier they become. There is no case. The longer it takes to go to trial, the more Nyoka suffers. He's being jailed and incarcerated for no reason. So our job is to reduce the time of incarceration of Nyoka. And if you go behind the scenes and have another deal, and you bring a lawyer that is going to come and go, and another lawyer that we don't know, and you meet with other people that we don't know, it prolongs the time that Nyoka is in jail, which is the intention. The intention of Mnangagwa is not to take Nyoka to jail or to take him to Zimbabwe. It is clear what Mnangagwa wants to do. Mnangagwa wants Nyoka to stay in jail in South Africa as long as possible. It has become clear to me what he wants to do. He wants the Nyoka to be in jail in South Africa for months and months without trial. That is what he's trying to do. That is why he's bringing all these funny things happening around Nyoka. And we have to be very careful that we don't play into this, into the hands of Mnangagwa. So that's what they're trying to do. Nyoka will be out. Let me explain to you why Nyoka will be out. Nyoka has got no case to answer. So within the next 2 weeks, the prosecution has to bring out the man called Honest Shumba. They can't start that court case without bringing him out. Honest Shumba has never been seen by anyone. He has to come to court and talk. He's not coming because there are no sofas. There was never any sofas or any sofa story with Nyoka. There is a person pretending to be Nyoka's brother who gave an interview last week. Nyoka has specifically told me that he's got no such brother. So these people, what they just want to do is to elongate the period where Nyoka is in jail. We don't want that. We want him out. So the longer people make tricks and make Nyoka go to lawyers, go to secret meetings and change the legal team, the worse it becomes. So we don't want it. If you're involved with anything to do with Nyoka's lawyers, you have to contact me. If you don't contact me and let me know, then we are going to fight. We're going to have a fight. We don't want it. Don't interrupt and cause confusion among the lawyers of Nyoka. And we can't make those changes. There are no strategic changes that can be made without letting me know that there are changes. We don't want people who pull the strings from behind the scenes. We don't want it, and that is clear. It's clear that we don't want that. It's crazy. Right, I now want to go to some trending news, and let's start at home. So I'm going to start with the United States of America. So the United States of America ambassador, Pamela Tremont, has had an interview yesterday. So she has said there are massive problems in Zimbabwe affecting investors. And American investors are starting to leave Zimbabwe because of the problems that they're facing. So what the ambassador said is that the environment in Zimbabwe it's got so many issues, especially to do with property rights, overpegging, and also if something is taken to court, it never gets resolved in the favor of the investor because the investor is connected, the courts are corrupt. So I want you to see her speaking on Friday Drinks, and you can go and watch the full interview there. So American investors are leaving. They're thinking of or trying to find ways to sell their investment and leave because they're not getting the value for coming to Zimbabwe. So check it out. Check the interview out here that she gave.
We have a handful of American investors in mining here, and the stories are nightmarish. Overpegging is an issue. Property rights are an issue. They can't get a fair hearing in court. They spend the money in prospecting, but then they can't actually produce the gold that they came here to produce. There's illegal miners that the police don't do anything about. Many of them are trying to sell their assets and try and get out because they just can't make it work.
Okay, very clear. Investing in Zimbabwe is a nightmare because the environment is very difficult. In fact, the best places to invest include Zambia and South Africa. If you're in Zambia and you want to invest, very easy. The paperwork is easy. If you're in Zimbabwe, it's like trying to, I don't know what you're doing if you're investing in Zimbabwe. Corruption is everywhere. Everyone you try to go to his office wants to be paid. It's bad in Zimbabwe. Very bad. And in South Africa, it's easy. It's easy to start a company. You can do it at your bank without even going to any official. But in Zimbabwe, everyone and their friends want to get a cut of your deal. So if ever you do any deal in Zimbabwe, you are going to get people coming to you wanting a percentage of a business. If you don't give a percentage of a business, you are going to have so many problems in Zimbabwe. So that is what they're talking about here. The Americans getting fed up with the investment environment in Zimbabwe. And I've said it in the past that we need to have a location in the United States where investors can go and do business there and link up with investors in America. The problem that we have in Zimbabwe is not the investors or the local investors. It is the people in the government. Every time you go to Zimbabwe, you have to pay a percentage to some government official. They will delay your paperwork. The last company we registered, it took us more than 6 months. And it cost us almost $10,000 to make the registration, just to get the paperwork of the company. Before your company is registered, that file is going to go as far as the president's office, just to be checked. Every company that is being registered in Zimbabwe goes as far as the president's office. And eventually you may lose your shareholding. You've seen the case that we handled here of an investor who lost their investment in Zimbabwe. It's crazy what's happening in Zimbabwe. So we need a solution. And the problem is corruption, massive corruption taking place in Zimbabwe. And investors are not finding the value that they want to get in Zimbabwe. So in a few months, I'll probably be traveling to the United States. And I think it's important for us to set up that place where investors from America don't have to even go to Zimbabwe. They can meet the investors right there in the United States, because you need the capital from the United States. You can't operate without capital from the United States. There's no other place with as much capital as the United States of America. And the guys in Zimbabwe are just impossible. We were trying to get land at one point, and we went to different places. We tried Machekeranwa Dam. We tried around Harare. We tried in Kariba. We tried in Victoria Falls. It's so impossible to deal with the guys in Zimbabwe because everyone there, they're so corrupt. One guy asked us to take care of his expenses for a weekend. Another guy said, we went to the people that we were talking to and said if they deal with us, they will never, they'll take away their lease on a certain piece of land. When we did a business, a land business in Kariba, a guy appeared from nowhere and disrupted everything. We were taken to court multiple times on flimsy grounds. And eventually we just packed up and quit. Imagine if we Zimbabweans do that, what do Americans do? And especially the use of intelligence. It's almost as if you are dealing with ZIDA, you have to be extra careful. They hacked my phone when I went to Zimbabwe. I will never forget that. The guys from ZIDA hacked my phone. And I've challenged the leadership of ZIDA to say, I can even show you the guys who did it. And no one has even ever came up to talk to me about it. What I'm saying is, it's almost as if the guys in Zimbabwe don't want foreign investors. And they want them not to come. I don't know for what purpose. But it's crazy. So that is what the American ambassador said. Americans looking for ways to get out after investing in Zimbabwe. So for those who didn't hear, let me replay it again.
We have a handful of American investors in mining here, and the stories are nightmarish. Overpegging is an issue. Property rights are an issue. They can't get a fair hearing in court. They spend the money in prospecting, but then they can't actually produce the gold that they came here to produce. There's illegal miners that the police don't do anything about. Many of them are trying to sell their assets and try and get out because they just can't make it work.
Okay, crazy stuff. I cannot believe it. So go check out the full interview on Friday Drinks. I like those guys. I watch almost every one of their episodes. And they are long episodes. They're not short. It's not like Gambakwe who does 30 minutes. They do like 1 hour, 30 minutes. It's crazy. Right, now let's go to other stories very quickly. There is a big story in the Newsday newspaper. You can go and check it out. A local farmer who was in the news last week, I covered that story. Brink Bosman, whose farm was taken by ZANU-PF officials. Thomas Chidzomba is back in the news after local war veterans are accusing him of killing a child in 2022 with a tractor. So they're saying his driver is not the one that killed the child, but it is him. So that they're using that as an excuse to take his farm. So you can go check out that story in the Newsday newspaper. Then look at the comments. Gambakwe, please don't take any compensation for Nyoka in the form of food items because ED and his people will not poison him. Yes, I'm not taking any food items for Nyoka. In fact, I am back in Cape Town and I was supposed to go and visit Nyoka next week. I am not going to go and visit Nyoka next week. And we've taken your advice. We're no longer taking any food items, including myself. We're no longer using any food items. We're going to bank money into his account. So when in jail in South Africa, there's a bank account at the bank, at the jail, where you go and give the prison officials and they bank the money, you can then buy at the tuck shop inside the jail. Very difficult to run a business in Zimbabwe. It's very difficult to import goods from the border to Harare. More than 20 roadblocks with no number plates. Everything's very expensive. That's true. Guys, we need to set up a location in the United States. I don't know how we can do this. If you want to know what I'm talking about, if you get it right in America, you have so much capital. There are so many people who want to invest in Africa, but they don't want to go through these difficulties to invest in Africa. So if you can just set up a sort of location in the United States, you have so much capital coming into Zimbabwe. Mnangagwa and his people don't want capital. They want to steal the little money that they get in Zimbabwe. That's all. They don't care about investment in our country. And we don't apologize for this. I'm fed up. When I went to Zimbabwe, one guy was trying to give me someone else's farm. Like, I arrived there and he says, oh, there's another guy whose farm is over there. It's not being used. Can we give you? And then you give us $50,000 or something of that nature. I go to another guy. He says, oh, if you want to invest in such and such a place, you have to make sure that you don't make a gated community because we won't be able to come in there. We want to be able to control what happens inside that gated community. Why are you having a gated community? So the whole deal at Machekarana died because they didn't want us to have a gated community. They were saying, you guys are going to have, you're going to be an island. And what about the local community? So we have these big problems. And I'm not even talking about local community in terms of them benefiting. I'm talking about why don't you give them a share inside your investment? Obviously, that's not possible because someone invests such a big amount of money. You don't want them to lose value. Like what has happened at Anasanwe City and Arua. Someone went behind the farm at Rua there where there was a low density and built a squatter camp right behind the expensive houses that are there at Zimri Park. Zimri Park now looks like a dump. It was supposed to be an expensive place. They're trying to do the same at Borodo, where they're putting squatters all over these places. So when you're driving to Borodo, now you pass through a squatter camp. So it doesn't make sense. You can't protect your investment that way. If you don't have a plan, so there must be a plan to bring investment and for the investor to have value. And the only place right now where you can invest is probably around Bulawayo, where you can be away from all the politics. There's very little politics in Bulawayo compared to Harare. However, already these guys have started going to Bulawayo. If you have a gold mine, they are coming every month to get a cut. This is crazy. I can't believe it. And we need to sort this out. Mnangagwa doesn't get it. Mnangagwa arikuraya vanhu nenzara. Mababata. Right. Now let's go to Chiwenga. So General Chiwenga is going to be in Victoria Falls on Wednesday. So that is General Chiwenga over here. He's a guest of honor together with Africana Chihombori. I don't know her at all. Like I've never seen her. Then there's also Jacob Mudenda and Ngobizita M. Ndlovu. Can someone tell me what Africana Chihombori does? Like, what is her job right now? I know she was an ambassador somewhere, but what does she do now? Like, I see her a lot, but I don't know what she does. We also have people from Kenya. We have Ruto. We've got Kawa. We've got Tafadzwa Chinamo. He's from Zida. Zida is very useless. I don't know what they do. I'm so concerned about Zida. Imagine all these problems that the ambassador said, and Zida does nothing about it. Then we've got a story in Africa that is trending here. So this is the basketball team of Senegal, very tall ladies. So they were trying to go and have a training session or preparation for their match in the United States of America. So the Senegal team has been denied visas. They wanted to go to the United States for 10 days from the 22nd, which is tomorrow, of June to the 3rd of July in preparation for Afro Basket tournament in Ivory Coast. However, visa applications for the 5 players and 7 officials were rejected by the US authorities, leading to Senegal's Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko cancelling the training session and moving it to Dakar, Senegal. So they've moved this to Senegal. The Americans are not giving visas to 7 officials and 5 players. I also find it funny. Why do you have more officials than the players? Is it crazy or not? Guys, what do you think? 7 officials and 5. So I don't get it. Maybe I'm missing something, but it's crazy. There are going to be a lot of tall babies in America. Right. So now let's go to Botswana. So there's a massive problem in Botswana, and that is gender-based violence. There is a pandemic of gender-based violence in Botswana. Many women are getting killed, including a woman who was killed last week at the University of Botswana. So this is bad. And the Minister of, let's call it properly here, Minister of Youth and Gender, Honorable Lesego Chombo. So Honorable Lesego Chombo is now engaging with the chiefs and the churches to deal with gender-based violence, which is a problem. Like more than 20 women have been killed, I think, this month in Botswana, in GBV. And this is bad because it's happening. You can't control what people do in the houses. And also, guys are just crazy. You can't kill someone because they cheated. Like if a woman cheats on you, you just go. You don't kill it. Honest, guys, I don't think this thing it makes sense. If a woman is cheating, why are you hanging around there? Just go. Like tell her like that day, I'm fed up, I'm out. Don't kill it. So this is what is happening now. Guys are like causing so much chaos. And if you go in the press today, there are so many women that have been killed in Botswana. Okay, Mr. George says Arcana is a Pan-Africanist in the level of Prof. Lumumba, who is advocating for effective governance of African resources for benefit Africans. Let me see my phone if I've got Africana. I've got people who give me contacts of people, but I don't think Africana Chihombori will ever respond to me because I'm not a Pan-Africanist. I'm not that. Guys, I don't care about this Pan-Africanist thing. They are using it to steal. Like every time they steal, they then say we're Pan-Africanist. You're not Pan-Africanist from stealing. If Chihombori says the truth about what Mnangagwa is doing today, and what Wikino is doing, and what Tagwire is doing. She will not be able to walk into Zimbabwe. So if you're Pan-Africanist, you have to ignore everything that Mnangagwa is doing. That's not Pan-Africanism. That's nonsense. I don't think there's a Pan-Africanist right now. You see people like Maponga, have they ever even spoken up against the corruption that is taking place in Zimbabwe? So this is not Pan-Africanism. I can bet you that Chiwombori won't mention that Zimbabwe is full of thieves. She will never do it. In what authority do you meet investors, Gambakwe? Umbori Ani. Yes, I am a business owner and one of the biggest media house owners in Zimbabwe. There is no one in Zimbabwe as visible as Gambakwe. If we were to have a vote now, right now, and say, who is the one person that is live every day, 2 times, who reaches 100,000 people a day in Zimbabwe? That is Gambakwe. I am a player. That's why you see people like Nyoka have nominated me to handle their affairs when they're in jail. That's why you see that the guys in every single country in SADC know me. You've never seen me sitting on this chair all day doing nothing. I stand up and I do stuff. So you think someone, who do you think then can talk to investors? If we deal with investors, if I deal with investors and we bring investors to Zimbabwe, they will be successful. We won't have this garbage where an investor bring their money and they lose it. Right now, any investor that goes to Zimbabwe lose their money. That makes no sense. So we cannot just sit back and do nothing. So myself, I'm not like the rest of the people. You will see that when we go to America, we'll establish that contact point for investors. I want Americans to come to Zimbabwe because I understand what it means. Americans have a lot of money. Not little money, serious money. All right. Now let's go to Aruba. Most of you have been asking me, what is Aruba? Why do I say there is something that has happened in Aruba to do with the Lungu? So my belief is that either the body of Lungu was moved to Aruba or was supposed to be moved to Aruba, or the family of Lungu is eventually going to go and settle in Aruba. So Aruba is a colony of Netherlands. It's about 10 hours flight from Angola. And the man you're looking at here is called Nuno Pereira. Nuno Pereira is the founder of Bestfly. He provided the jet that I was showing you, which was parked at Lanzera Airport, which we're tracking. So we're tracking this jet, and Nuno Pereira, I don't know why he provided that jet. I don't know how he's linked to these guys. But what I know is that he started off in Angola, in the aviation sector of Angola. He has also worked in the oil sector of Angola. He has also worked in the military of Angola before he founded this company called Bestfly. So Nuno Pereira is the one that provided the jet, and the jet has left. It flew from South Africa and went to Kinshasa before flying from Kinshasa to Luanda. And thereafter, we don't know what has happened. And as I said, we don't know who was in that jet, which was parked at Lanzera Airport. I suspect that something big has happened here. Either something has been moved or someone was supposed to be on that jet. If my suspicions are correct, then the family of Lungu is not going to go back and live in Zambia. That is what I believe, that they'll eventually live, or they have already left, some of them, to go to Aruba. So Aruba is a very wealthy little island. As you can see, they have got almost all the hotels that you know. And there is no link, public link between Zambia and Aruba, which means that this was the plan B for Lungu and his family. So they probably put some assets here in Aruba when they were still in government, like all people do. And here there's no president, there is a prime minister. This country is governed by Netherlands. So I believe that something has happened here, and we're going to be following this up very closely. Nuno Pereira, I do not know how he's connected to this whole situation, but there is a connection over here. The only way link I can see between Aruba and Africa is when Mandela went in 1989 to a meeting of the Caribbean. So Mandela went there and met the Caribbean presidents at some sort of seminar. So that was heads of government of the Caribbean community held in Castres, St. Lucia in 1998. That is when Mandela went over there. I've never seen any link between the Caribbean and Africa. It's very rare for the Caribbean to link themselves to events in Africa. So when this happens, it's not normal. It's not usual. Something has happened. Something is going on behind the scenes. And my belief is that Lungu's death is suspicious and there is something going on behind the scenes. We need to dig deeper here. Politically, there is something going on regarding the death of Lungu. And it has robbed in people from Angola, which is part of SADC, and the people of Caribbean, where Best Fly comes from. And this man here, Nuno Pereira, who is based in Aruba, they've got a branch there because so many wealthy people go to Aruba. That's why they have this charter. People charter planes. But this is very suspicious and almost impossible to understand what is going on over there. Now, let's quickly go to the newspapers. In Botswana, President Dumaboko has broken his finger. You can see over there. President Dumaboko broke his finger. I don't know what happened. He is going to be hosting the Legends of Soccer in what is called the Clash of the Legends match. So President Dumaboko looking very nice as usual. Amazing dressing. You can go and check it out on his page. And I can tell you the people, the cabinet of Dumaboko is the best dressed. Look at Bogolo Kenowendo. How beautiful is she? How smart is she? Look at Lesego Chombo. These guys are extremely smart. It's like one of the smartest cabinets. Botswana doing very, very well. They're amazing. I like it. I like Botswana. I'm going to be over there very, very soon. I'm going to start moving. When it's warmer, I don't like moving around when it's cold. So when it gets warmer, I'm going to start moving around. So now let's quickly look at the Herald newspaper if they published. And these guys like to sleep. So I don't know if they published today. Herald Zimbabwe, what's over there? Okay, they're still on 20. They haven't woken up. Very sad. You can't sleep when you're running a newspaper. I wake up at 2 a.m. and I sleep at 12, 1. That's why we use invade. So that we're awake. We're awake at all times. And then after that, I have to go and work out because I can't afford Kutongwa Nema salad. So Chronicle Zimbabwe is not published. I'll give you guys information from there. And obviously, as I said, the biggest story next week will be the big functions that we're having, which is the burial at the National Heroes Acre on Monday of Luke Mushore, who passed away, a war veteran. He's going to be buried at the National Heroes Acre of Zimbabwe. So look very carefully what happens at the National Heroes Acre. Look at the body language between Mnangagwa and Chiwenga. That is on Monday. Then on Wednesday, we've got 2 functions. That is Chiwenga in Victoria Falls and Chagwire in Bulawayo. That's going to be a shocking week, a very, very big week. And then obviously, Kazembe looking very sick. Remember what Nyokayemabhunu said. He collapsed in Victoria Falls and had to be airlifted to Harare. So that is Kazembe there, not looking well, not feeling well. Aka broker. Kazembe, aka broker. Kazembe, aripatite. Sidzoro. Gutambangu Kazembe. Naofiba. We had to kupe mpe. Right, let me talk to the last thing on Mkuru. Let's go to Mkuru. Guys, it's unfair what has happened to Mkuru. And I apologize to Mkuru because I've got such a huge following. So when I say something, I take it lightly. So when I say something, I take it small, but it's big. So let me show you what has happened. After I made a post about Mkuru, it has now reached 220,000 people on our TikTok. This is terrible. I don't like it because Mkuru would have wanted to have an opportunity, obviously, to talk to me. So let's see what Mukuru have said about this whole situation. Because I move a lot of money through my Mukuru myself. So let's go there and let's see if they've issued a statement. Mukuru haven't issued a statement. I don't see any statement from Mukuru here regarding the situation. So it's crazy. But as I said, if they issue a statement, I'm going to give it to you guys to say what has happened. And our TikTok goes to a lot of people. Like, if I mention anything, it just goes. So make sure that you don't take things that I say here for granted. It's big. Everything we say here at Gambakwe is very, very big. Okay, what else do I want to do? Let's end with the Auxilia. Auxilia is back in Zimbabwe today. She's arriving from Dubai, where she attended a conference, and she showed a video yesterday. So Auxilia showcased a video of all her programs. All I can say is, Auxilia, that's not your job. Your job is to be in the house, State House, cook for people when they arrive, and make sure that Mnangagwa is properly dressed and takes his medication. Mnangagwa aka broker, Auxilia aka broker, Sean aka broker, Emerson Jr. aka broker. And then I read Kuda aka broker, Kuda uyu. Very, very sad. Wokubama zig tokens. Okay, I think we've covered everything. Let's look at the comments once again. You and your Americans, go and hallucinate with your Trump as much as you wish. Some of us appreciate the many challenges in our father and motherland at the moment, but we'll keep investing there. Athanasio Zadagu, Waka Broker. And then Mgoma George, Gambakwe meet these questions head on. And you're also corrupt Gambakwe. What happened to Kariba Housing Project? I can assure you, I have never taken a cent from a person. I don't owe anyone any money. I have never stolen any money from any person. I've never used government funds on anything. I've never received a government tender. I've never received government land. Everything I do is above board. You can take me to a court. You can take me to an investigation. You can take me to ZAC. You will never catch a thing. And one more thing about me, I've never been funded by anybody except the NAST Student Representative Council. In 1998, I got my first funding to start my media house. So let me tell you for sure, without a doubt, that we need investors from America. I was in New York and Washington on the 4th of November for the elections. I'm going to return to America. And what we want to do, we want the Americans to invest in Zimbabwe, not only as a small investor. We want the Americans to do rail, want them to do construction, we want them to do mining, want them to do systems. These are the areas where we want the Americans to go into. Big, massive projects. Tourism. We've already presented, right now as I speak, massive project proposals in Victoria Falls, in Kariba, in Harare, and we're working with other people who are also working on projects. The Americans have got the capital, but we want to give them access. So I can assure you, when I go to America right now, we are not going there to talk about 1,000 or 20,000. We're talking billions. Americans can do it. And if you have the Americans in Zimbabwe, they will do amazing stuff. They are not like the Chinese who come and invest and then they just go and they live in environmental disaster. Americans can put a system in place. That's what I've been saying to guys. Americans can bring you a system. Just go into America, you understand what I'm talking about. It's not like all these other countries. So I am very much interested in Americans coming to Zimbabwe. And let's do it. Let's make it happen. Gambakwe, Zoro, usangoti teacher. Nepa State House, Apple. Yes. Paturwa. State House. So guys, we are aligned. Let's make sure that the Americans don't leave our country. We want them to invest. And the problem in Zimbabwe is Mnangagwa, Tagwirei, Wikino, Scott. Those are the problems in our country, not the Americans. The Americans are doing very, very well. Chiwenga is living on an agreed arrangement, given a huge amount, retire, and let Mnangagwa do his own thing. Soldiers used. It's possible. Zoitika pa Zimbabwe. It's possible. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I want to thank you for all your support. Gambakwe is doing very, very well. There is no media house in our country that is doing as well as Gambakwe. And that is because Gambakwe Media is a spiritual channel. And this was prophesied. A prophet came to us and said, Gambakwe, you are going to talk to millions and millions of people. And at that time, I was working in IT. And I said, I will never go in public. But that is what it is. Today, it just came true. But what's coming next is even more amazing. We want you guys to become billionaires. Not as Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe. We've got the West kleptocracy. What is a kleptocracy? A government of thieves. Kleptocracy. Let me Google. Kleptocracy is a system of government where leaders use their power to steal from the public and enrich themselves, often through embezzlement and misappropriation of funds. This form of corruption can severely weaken a country's institutions, economy, creating instability and hindering development. Mnangagwa is a kleptocracy. Aka broker. Wikino is a kleptocracy. Aka broker. Who else? Let's look. Tagure is a kleptocracy. Sandra is a kleptocracy. Imbava, even a woman is becoming a thief. I can't believe it. A mother becoming a thief. Auxilia is a kleptocracy. Sean, Sean is trying to get guns so that he can scare us and steal. So we are being governed by thieves. Said. Right, guys, support our sponsors, Mve, and 1 packet of Mve will get you a free packet of Mazondo Spice. We're selling in the UK, USA, Canada, Australia by DHL, and South Africa by Uber. Zimbabwe, you pick up at Angwa at an agent, and Bulawayo delivery into your house. And Botswana, you make arrangements with our Bulawayo suppliers. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I really appreciate all your support. And I'll see you again a little bit later. I'm going to be back in less than a few hours to give you an update. And a good day to you all.
Zvikananda zviri kumedza go ifanika anakonda taona pazobuda